This is cs952, Introduction to Web Technologies and Design. And in this next video, we're going to imagine that we've decided to add a new page to our website. A page that we hadn't quite planned on before, and it's going to be a contact page. Now originally, we set up a button or a link on the home page so that when you clicked on email, it would cause a email service to open up, and then you could type in your email information and send off an email to the folks at this pencil website. But what if instead they wanted to have an actual contact page where you would fill in your email information, but you could also provide some additional input to the website? So we're going to see in the process of doing this, we're going to go back through how do you create a new page again from the template, and then after you create that new page, we're going to add the content to the page, and then how do we create a link back to that page from our template so that we'll be able to get to this page. It'll have a link just like all of our other pages do. And I mention this because if you want to do the extra credit exercise for the class, that's going to be adding another page to the website. So we're kind of going through the same steps. Anytime we want to add a new page to our site, we want to expand our website, this is how we would go through the process. Remember, we have that link called Coming Soon that we haven't used. So let's get right into this. To create a new page, we go back to File, and we go back to New, and we want to make sure that we're using our site template, right? So I've got New Site Template. It's for our pencil site. We only have one template, so when it says template for the site pencil, that's our template right there. And we click on the Create button. And of course, as I mentioned before, we want to make sure we have Update Page when template changes. So we click on Create. And one of the first things we do is change the document title, because we don't want all these pages to come up as untitled document or just all saying the same thing, so that we'll be able to know what page we're on. So I'm going to type in Contact. Okay, so we've got that. And now I'm in Code View. I want to get rid of that main content, that placeholder main content. So again, my favorite way to do that is just click here in the status bar so that my editable instance is highlighted, then hit delete or backspace. Then I'm hit enter or return a couple times just to give myself a little working area. Going to open up my snippet window. Remember the snippet window? That was where we saved our little starter code to help us shave some time off this process. So I'm going to go down and choose snippets, and starting code right there, it's still selected for us. That's what we want to add in. And now I'm just going to click on my Insert button, and my code has been inserted into my page. I can close my snippets up. Now I want to change in my H2 tag, right? It says Gallery, but this isn't the gallery page, right? This is going to be our contact page. So I've double-clicked on the word Gallery, and I'm just going to type Contact, C-O-N-T-A-C-T. And now I'm going to be adding a form to this page. And when we create a form for a page, when we have where people are going to type in their email address, first name, last name, what did you like about the site, all that information, everything needs to be contained inside of an HTML form tag. So whatever parts we add to it, it all has to be wrapped up inside of a form tag. And if we looked at our navigation from the template, we had a little form there, right? We have that little Google search tool. If we look, all those little elements where you type in what you want to search for and where you click the search button, all contained inside of the form tag. So I'm going to put my cursor right after Contact, the H2 with Contact. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter one more time, just to give myself a little space. And I'm going to go under Insert up here at the top, and I'm going to choose Form, right? So if we scoot on down here, we can see after HTML there's Form. Now these are all different form elements that we can add, but everything that's in a form needs to be contained first and foremost inside of the form tag. So before we can add any of these other parts, we have to click on the form element first. Okay, so there we go. And this is essentially the start of our form. We've got an opening form tag, right? We can see it right here. This is our opening form tag, and then we have a closing form tag. And everything that we put in our form is going to fit right in between this opening and this closing tag. It's like when we did the gallery page. Remember, we had the div with an ID of photo gallery, and then all those pictures, everything we added just went right in between that opening and closing tags. I'm going to go ahead and enter one more time just to get myself a little bit of space. I'm going to hit refresh to refresh the page. And now let's start giving a form some properties. So if I click on my form tag, here in the property inspector, Dreamweaver's showing us properties that are related to a form, not properties related to a photo or to anything else, but properties specifically for a form. First thing I'm going to do is give my form an ID. It's always nice to give a form an ID, and I'm going to type in contact, C-O-N-T-A-C-T. I'm going to hit the tab key, and the next thing I'm going to put in is the action. So when we click our submit button, what is our form going to do? What's going to be the action? When we worked on the navigation, the action was to submit whatever our query was, whatever our search term was, to Google and have Google do a search. In this case, we're going to take this information and we're going to submit it to the cs952 website, and it's also going to generate an email. What we're putting in for our action is this. We're typing in http:// This is just a typical web address, right? www, like World Wide Web, dot cs952.org. So far, this is the web address of our student website, /contact, C-O-N-T-A-C-T, .php. We're going to be using PHP in order to make this form work. Now, the method that we're going to use for this form is going to be post. When we did the Google form, our method was get, but in this case we're using post. And if you want to learn more about PHP, take CS958. Briefly, we want to use post because post is a little bit better when you might be passing personal information. And for our target, we're going to use target as equal to blank again. And as you recall, when we use target equal to blank, that means that as a result of our action, we're going to be opening up a new page. So this is a pretty good place to take a break. We're going to save our page. We haven't saved our page yet. So I'm going to click on the Save All button. Again, if you haven't saved a page before, it doesn't really matter what kind of save you click on, just as long as you click on Save. And I'm going to save the page as Contact, C-O-N-T-A-C-T. And hit Save. And then we'll continue in the next video actually adding all of the elements inside of our form.